Elements are the building blocks of your template. Layout elements allow you to control the overall structure of your template. Content elements allow you to add text and images to your templates. To add an element to your template, simply click it, drag it, and drop it where you want it to go. When you select an element, you'll see the properties for that element be displayed in the Properties panel on the left-hand side, and also a toolbar displayed at the top of the element. The four icons that you see are the Parent Select icon, which will select the parent of the current element. So if we were to click this arrow right now, it would select the section element because that is the parent of the column. This is the Move icon, which will allow you to rearrange the elements and where they're placed in the template. After that, you have the Clone icon. We'll create a clone of the element that's selected along with any children that you have inside of it. So if we were to select this section element and click Clone, it will create another section with one column in it. Same thing up here. If we were to clone this, it'll create another one with 3 columns. And the last icon is the Delete icon, which will remove the element from the template. Layout elements allow you to control how the content of the template is laid out. Section elements are the only layout elements that can be dropped into the body. This right here is the body. If you try to drag a column into the body, it won't allow you, but you can drag it into a section. Columns are used to group content vertically, and rows are used to group content horizontally. So if we were to add a row within this column here, that would allow us to add more columns within that row. To resize a column, click on the column and then grab the handle and drag to the width that you'd like it to be. You can also manually set the width over here in the Properties panel, like so. The width of the columns are relative to each other. So in this case, we have 3 columns which are all 100 units wide. If we were to change one of these columns, you'll see that now this column is the equal width of these 2 columns, because these 2 columns are 100 units wide and this is 200 units wide. If we wanted this to be 3 times as large, change it to 300, and it doesn't matter what you change it to, it's all relative to each other. If we were to change each of these columns to 1, that would work as well. And now they'll all be equal width. If you want it to be 2 times, just increase it. And columns are the only types of elements that you can add content to, which means you can only place text and images into columns. Let's start by adding a text element to one of our columns and adding some content to it. To start editing the text element, double click on the element and start typing. I've already copied some text to my clipboard, so I'm going to paste that in by pressing Ctrl-Shift-V if you're on Windows and Command-Shift-V if you're on Mac, and that will paste without formatting, so that will match the formatting of the text element, like so. Now to change the properties, select the element, and here's where we can control the different properties of the element. If you want to change the text color, that's under text, so on and so forth. So something important to note about these properties is they're inherited from their parent element. And what that means is, in this case, if we were to select a section, right now we've set this text to red, but if we were to set the text color of the entire section to blue, for instance, this won't change because we've already set it. However, if there's text in there that we haven't set manually, if we were to paste it in here again, now this text would be blue because it's inheriting that property from this section. That doesn't just apply to text colors, that applies to everything. If we were to change the font size of the section, it would be inherited by everything that doesn't have its own property value set for that property. So in this case, this red text is set to inherit, so it's going to inherit the property value of font size from the parent. So if we were to change this now to 10-point font, that will override the font setting of the section and have its own 10-point font. To add an image, click on the image element and drop it in the column where you'd like it to go. You'll see a pop-up mode will come up. To add an image from your computer, click in this area here, and then your Windows Explorer or Finder will pop up if you're on a Mac. Click on the image you'd like to upload, click open, and it'll be added. To add it into the template, you'll need to double click it. But first I'm going to show you how to add it from a URL. Paste the URL inside here like so. Click add image, and there it is. And then to add it into your template, just double click. The last two elements are the spacer and the page break. The spacer will add vertical space wherever you place it, and a page break will force the content below the break to start on a new page. We'll take a look at each of those now. To make it easy, I'll just clone this section here and then place a spacer in between. This is in the body now, and you can control the height that you want this spacer to be. Lastly, we will add a page break in the same place, and it doesn't look like it's doing anything right now, but if we go to preview the document, you'll see that now the second part of this is on a new page. Alright, that is Elements at a high level. We'll be covering some of these in more depth in later videos, so keep an eye out for those. Alright, have a great day.